First of all, I would like to thank the Boy Scout troop for coming out today, and I want to acknowledge some of the elected officials that are here today. We have Councilman Steve Kahn, 3rd Ward Councilman, 2nd Ward Councilman Jim Ballard. We also have our at-large Councilwoman Gabrielle Cahill here. And then most importantly, we have the Grand Marshal of this year's parade here. We have Patricia McElhaney. Come on over, Patricia.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming out today to honor our brave men and women that serve in the nation's service. You know, what does Memorial Day mean? Does it mean a day off? Does it just mean picnics and parades? If public opinion serves correct, most Americans don't know about Memorial Day's purpose and its history. That's a pity because it removes an important bond with those brave men and women who have given their lives for this nation's freedom. During the first observation of what was then termed Decoration Day, the graves upon both Union and Confederate soldiers in Arlington were adorned with flowers as thousands stood and prayed and sang hymns. After World War I, the National Declaration Day became Memorial Day, which was expanded to include those who died in all U.S. wars. More than 1 million American fighting men and women have given, as Lincoln termed it in the Gettysburg, the last full measure of devotion. Their valor and sacrifice made possible our freedoms, our values, our very existence. The memorial in Memorial Day has been ignored by too many of us who are beneficiaries of those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. Often we do not observe the day as it should be, a day where we actively remember our ancestors, our family members, our loved ones, our neighbors, our friends who have given that ultimate sacrifice. I pray for our country and all who have served and are serving, for their families who also serve by losing precious days, weeks, months spent with their loved ones who are off serving, preserving peace and freedom we have in this country. I'll pray for the families who paid the ultimate price, whose loved ones died or were taken captive and never returned. I will pray for anyone who may still be held captive and thinks perhaps they have been forgotten. I will never forget them. God bless our armed forces, the men and women of the service, their families, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. For those who don't know, Patricia is also the president of the American Legion Auxiliary here in the state of New Jersey. And I'd like to thank you for all the work that you've done on behalf of veterans issues around the state of New Jersey and all the time and effort that she has given her life to helping others within the veterans community. I would like to mention that we do have Councilman at Large Ken Armwood that is down here today. And also on behalf of Senator Smith and our County Sheriff Millie Scott, I want to thank everybody. We're honoring the fallen who've given their ultimate sacrifice here, but more importantly, we're honoring the living. Too often enough, people forget about the veterans that are currently out there, whether they're having issues with mental health or physical health, and always talking about the cuts in programming cutbacks for our veterans. So we as a community should embrace our vets and make sure we get out there and help them in their effort on Capitol Hill to make sure that those programmings do not fall by the wayside. Because after all, they didn't ask for the job. They signed up on behalf of us to fight for our freedoms. So with that, we were going to turn it over to our distinguished member for our Super Chiefs band to play the taps. And if we'll have the Scouts salute. Ooh, got away from you. Our parade today is being led off by the Piscataway Police Department, and that's going to be followed by the Piscataway High School Air Force JROTC Color Guard and Drill Team. Following the drill team is our Grand Marshal, Ms. Patricia McElhaney. We have the American Legion Post 261 Color Guard joined with the 101st Airborne Association Marchers. Marchers are followed by the Post 261 Ladies Auxiliary members. Poppy Princess Leash Mendoza and Poppy Page Isabella. Be followed by the trailer with the veterans. We have Sheriff Billy Scott, followed by Mayor Brian Wahler and the Township Council. We have Kenneth Armwood, Mark Hardenberg, Jim Bullard, Michael Griffith, Steve Kahn, Gabriel Cahill, and Michelle Lamar. Followed by our police chief, Rick Ibone, in the Dare car. Next up, we have the Piscataway Board of Education marching our Paula Mass, President, Tom Mosier, Vice President, and board members Tom Connors, Catherine Greeley, Captain U.S. Navy, retired. She's one of our veterans marching today. She was a captain in the Navy, Nurse Corps, Vietnam, and Desert Storm, who's currently a member of the Board of Education. We have Mark Okamoto, Robert Opitz, Isaac Beng. The banner bearers are Evan Okamoto and Katie Mass. Next up, we have the Piscataway Police Youth Week. Next up, we have Piscataway Township Emergency Management, headed by Chief Paul Snyder. Followed by the Piscataway Township Office on Aging. Next up is the Living Hope Outreach Center.
Nobody can stop it from praising my Jesus. Nobody can stop it from praising my Jesus. Nobody can stop it from praising my Jesus. Over here. Nobody can stop it from praising my Jesus. Nobody can stop it.
Next up, we have the American Legion Post 261 baseball team. The seniors, head by Art Chippendale, and sophomores, Art Newman. Next up, we have the BPO Elks Lodge 2414.
A little information, Girl Scouts is celebrating the 100 years of Girl Scouting in the United States. So, and I'm going to introduce my color guard: Sarah Mercinka, Katina Frank, Selena Dietermeyer, Alexa Reuter, and Lucy Presidio. Now, these three girls, since Girl Scouting is 100 years, we have just started a student advisory committee, which consists of all levels of Girl Scouting. And this is Jennifer Zeller, Paula Ulick, and Georgie Noel. This is our first Daisy Troop, 80312. This is Jen Borders and Gina Hamilton. They're kindergartners. Our next Daisy Troop is 81747. Amanda Passman and Jennifer Shore are the leaders. They're first graders. Our next troop is 82071. Donna Coster is the leader, and along with her daughter Nancy, who grew up in Girl Scouting. Our next troop is 80326. Carol Trumbar is the leader. Our next troop is 80877. Valerie Robinson, Patty Bellow. Our next troop is 80360. This is a multi-level troop, and our leaders are Cindy Rolson and Stacy Daly. They consist of Daisy Brownies and juniors. Our next troop here is 81697. Nicole Winston is the leader, and Angela Siebel. Our next Brownie troop is 83931. Christina DeFiora and Karen Tager are the leaders. multi-level troops. These are Brownie Junior troops. It's 80884. Teresa Sterning is the leader. Our next troop is 83108. Jessica Walker is the leader. She also heads our student advisory committee. Our next troop is A3279. Andrea Haskins is our leader. Our next troop is 80849, Junior Troop. Lisa Dilemma is the leader. Our next troop is 81442. They're a junior troop. First year juniors, Karen Sabo and Lizette is our leaders. Our next troop is 80316. This is a brand new troop. Lydia Richardson and Robin Bowers are our leaders. Our next troop is 80567. Maria Percival is the leader. Our next troop is 81548. Lori Slacky and Gail Rivers are the leaders. And they're also the SUDs of the Piscataway Girl Scouts. Our next troop is 80563. These are first year cadets. Brenda Rogue is our leader. Our next troop is 80432. Carol Trumbar is the leader. She actually has two troops. Our next troop is 80553. Maggie Marcinko is our leader. And the troop right after that is 81135. And Maggie's the leader of that troop too.
Next up, we have the Boy Scouts, Pack 106, and then Pack 20. Troop 20. Then we have Pack 67. And Troop 67. Next up, we have Arbor Hose Company, Chief Joe Decker.
followed by the Arbor Rescue Squad. Next up, we have Arbor Hose Company, Chief Joe Decker. Next up, we have Holmes Marshall Fire Company, Chief Darrell Henry. Newmarket Fire Company is joined by the Ladies Auxiliary. That's headed by Mary Ellen Lemire. Newmarket Fire Company is followed by the Middlesex County Urban Search and Rescue Team. Next up, we have North Stelton Fire Company, McDermott III. The North Stelton Rescue Squad, Chief Stephen Hertitz. Next up, we have Possumtown Fire Company. It's Chief Paul Schneider. Certainly not least, we have the River Road Fire Company, Chief Glenn Harding. Next up, we have the River Road Rescue Squad. That's Chief Sarah Marucci, President Chris Simon. And that concludes the 2012 Piscataway Memorial Day Parade. We want to thank you all for coming out. There's going to be complimentary hot dogs, root beer, and beer down at the American Legion, so please feel free to come down and eat all of it.